Rebecca Bender is a trafficking survivor and leader in the anti-trafficking movement. She joins us today from Minneapolis, where she is helping at the Super Bowl, and she's here to talk about some of the latest approaches to fighting this modern-day nightmare. Rebecca, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Rebecca, you are at the Super Bowl, and there's a lot of talk always around the Super Bowl in regards to, is there a lot of trafficking going on or not there? What is your take on the Super Bowl and how big a day it is or isn't in terms of traffickers and how they view it?
You know, trafficking spikes anytime there's groups of large men that congregate, especially by themselves. So any conference, any sporting event. Super Bowl is unique because you do oftentimes have gambling, so you have expendable income, you have usually heightened testosterone and sometimes mixed in alcohol. So it definitely is a target for traffickers to bring, unfortunately, product to. But so are other sporting events that don't get nearly as much buzz. So it's all of them combined.
So in terms of using public resources, how should law enforcement, et cetera, be applying public resources to days like the Super Bowl to other sporting events, other conferences?
I think a lot of the law enforcement in cities like this, where they know they have big events coming in, definitely gear up and prepare for the increase in potential activity for exploitation. I know Minneapolis Police is doing an incredible job this year. Houston did a great job last year. Anytime a city who knows about trafficking is having a big event in their town, we do see our police really stepping up to the plate and handling it in a great way.
And how are you involved in Minneapolis this weekend? What will you be doing?
I am just going to be participating in a variety of events and activities that will help to recover victims, potentially do some victim advocacy work, little bits here and there with a lot of different groups.
All right. And you, of course, have founded Rebecca Bender Initiative to provide resources to both survivors and those who want to help them. And one of the initiatives that intrigued me is your work with faith-based groups. In your materials, you say that even the most well-intended people can unintentionally hurt others. How do you see this happening?
You know, I think sometimes we envision human trafficking only like kidnapped children in third world countries. And so we're not trained or informed on the realities of trafficked children potentially out of foster care or abused situations. And so when we get people that come into our faith-based programs or our churches that are seeking refuge or help, we're kind of taken back by maybe they're being hardened or angry or hurting. We're expecting children to be running with, duct tape flapping in the wind, screaming for help. And that's not how it looks. And so I think we do a disservice to victims by not really knowing what to expect.
And so what should we expect? How do you teach believers who want to reach survivors to help them?
I think the important thing to remember when you're helping anyone who's hurting, anyone that's coming out of extreme trauma, is that you really need to focus on empathy, right? We're not the Holy Spirit, and we shouldn't try to be the Holy Spirit to try to teach them and convict them on how they should live their lives better. That's not what we're called to do. We're called to love. We're called to be light and salt to the world, not to the church. I think too many times Christians get on we need to teach them how to live a better life, as opposed to let's just love them and let the Holy Spirit do his job.
Wow. You also consult with people who want to open safe homes for victims. And we know, of course, that this is a huge need. There's not enough services for victims. Why do you think there are so few services available at this point in time?
It's really difficult to open safe homes in any state. There's so much red tape. There's so many licensing issues. It's very expensive. It's hard sometimes to go to donors and let them know it's going to cost, $100,000, for only 2 or 3 victims. That ROI isn't very good. And that's just how long we know that it takes to help victims restore. So it's just a lot. There's many reasons why it's very difficult to open safe homes. Takes a lot of money, takes a lot of time, takes a lot of licensing. And so it's a big mountain to climb. And a lot of people give up before they're ready, or it's a lot more work than they anticipated. So we're looking for people that can run the marathon and do the research and education that they need to start safe homes before they really start diving in.
One of the services that you offer for trafficking survivors is an online resource called Elevate Academy. How do you see helping victims online fit into the mix of services that survivors really need?
What we did was we saw universities using online classes to help further education and prepare students for their future. And so we just wanted to replicate the academic standard and be able to provide survivors with resources to be job ready, economically empowered, to really restore their dreams, regardless of where they live. So if they were able to run from their trafficker and there might not be a safe home available for them, but maybe they're, staying at grandma's house or a safe friend or families, they can still log in. They can still get a mentor and a cohort that's going to help walk them through that restoration of both their trauma and hopefully their dreams.
And what have you seen happen? I mean, have survivors indeed been able to utilize the resource for that purpose?
Oh, absolutely. We've seen an incredible amount of recovery and restoration. 89% of our graduates see an increase in their income within 12 months of completing our program. And the reason why this is so important is we can, quote unquote, rescue people all day long coming out of sex trafficking. But if they're going right back to the same vulnerabilities that got them trafficked in the first place, then are we really helping them to move forward in their life and break cycles of poverty and generational issues? So that's what we really try to focus on and elevate.
All right. Well, Rebecca Bender, a lot of tough work, but a lot of great work. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.